Good afternoon. Top of the hour here right at 5 o'clock. I'm meteorologist Robb Ellis. Want to get you an update on the snow that's moving in. This is live radar. You see that there was some dry air in place, but as expected, this batch of snow is getting a little bit closer and it's starting to erode some of the drier air. We have snow that's now falling from Terre Haute and maybe over to Crawfordsville, Lafayette. That's all going to continue overspreading the area, and this is when I think the bulk of the accumulation is going to occur, likely between 5:30 in Indy and all the way through about maybe 8 or 9 o'clock or so. This is when we expect to get some additional accumulations, and it's still causing problems. Here is a live picture from the same image we've been showing you throughout the day. This is Interstate 70 westbound. This is about 15 miles from the state line. Up ahead and on the right would be Terre Haute. So this is very close to Terre Haute before you get to Terre Haute if you're coming from Indy. This has been shut down since around 12:30, 1 o'clock or so this afternoon. They've cleared some of the roadway. They've allowed some cars to roll through, but it's very slow going as they're continuing to try to get a handle on this. They actually had decent weather for a while. Things have now gone back downhill as the snow is moving through, and this is what it's likely going to look like in Indy about an hour from now. This snow is moving our way. Let me show you what it looked like earlier. This was that same scene earlier in the day. This is all of the mess that they had to clear out. Slowly they started moving things and clearing things out. Now they are at least trying to get a handle on that, but while they have cleared it, now we're starting to see additional snow come down and come down pretty heavily. At last checked, Terre Haute was reporting heavy snow coming down. As far as accidents, a couple things I want to let you know. Indy's looking pretty good, although there is one accident here that we've been tracking. In fact, Colin, if you're able to pull up that traffic accident from the other NDOT computer when you get a moment, this is the one I can't pull up manually on my computer system, but we saw a little slide off here. This is just past the Whitestown exit. So if you're 65 northbound, you pass Whitestown, and then it's that new exit, that new interchange that they've just put there. So keep that in mind. That's the area that we're tracking. And Colin, when you get that NDOT camera, feel free to throw it up if you can. Otherwise, we had Interstate 69 southbound was shut down, a little closer to Fort Wayne, maybe just past Marion in the Huntington area. That has since been resolved. The other issue that we've been tracking has been this. This is where we have the huge shutdown. Westbound, Terre Haute is here, the state line. This is where if you're traveling westbound, 40 is the better way to go, but that too will likely be snow covered as we have issues ongoing with the heavy snow that's coming down. I mentioned Interstate 69 southbound. This has improved. They've since opened this, but this was shut down for a couple of hours due to an accident southbound. Still slow going as they still have snow happening right now. Also 65, we're starting to see some real big slowdowns from about Lafayette and points to the north and west. Again, there's that one accident that we're seeing right now in Indy on the northwest side. This is just past Whitestown. It's that new intersection, that new interchange that they just built within the last year or two, just past Whitestown between the Whitestown exit and the Albert S. White Drive interchange there. So that one has been cleared up. The traffic is moving through there, but we've seen a slide off. And thankfully, it looks like things are going to be improving there, but more snow is on the way. Let's talk about the forecast from here. I've mentioned that the next few hours are going to be where we'll see the most snowfall accumulation from this system. Temperatures are in the 20s north of Indy. They're in the 30s south of Indy. I think these temperatures will drop just a couple degrees for a few hours as that intense band of snow moves through, and then they're going to rise again overnight. So we've got a window here where once this snow arrives, it's going to fall. It's likely going to accumulate pretty quickly. We could see some snow rates as much as 1 to maybe 2 inches of snow an hour. Looks like they moved the camera for us, but that's okay. We're looking at Interstate 65 here, a little farther up the road. We're looking at 201. That's going to be mile marker 201. That's going to be closer to, say, Rensselaer. If I know that area pretty well, nice and flat, open. You can see the roads are snow covered. So we're looking about halfway between Lafayette and, say, Chicago, an area that is very used to seeing a lot of snow. Traffic is moving, and that's some good news. Now look in Indianapolis here on the left side of your screen. Notice, look at the left side of that live picture compared to the right side of it. In that image, you are looking south. Notice how there's a bigger gap in the clouds to the surface between the left side and the right side. And that's because the snow is moving in from the right side. The right side is the west. That's where it's coming from. That's the atmosphere getting much more moisture. The clouds are lowering. We're starting to see more moisture begin to move in. And I think our roadways are going to start to look a lot more like it does here in Covington, which is what we're looking at in this live traffic camera. Far western part of the state here. We're looking at more snow covering the roadways. It's going to come down at such a rate that snow melt will certainly help on the roadways, but it's probably going to be coming down at such a rate it's going to overcome that melting. So there will be a window here of a couple of hours where I think things are going to go downhill. This is the batch that we're talking about that gives us the best chance for accumulating snow. Now, I know it looks like it's going to trail off behind that, but what you have to understand is the radar I'm using is specifically the Indianapolis radar. It only goes out so far. When I switch the view here to a wider view and use the composite radar, sometimes we call it, this is the area that very heavy snow is happening. Let me actually go back to that, because once we go back to it, you'll be able to see where we have some of the heavier snowfall amounts, some of the heavier rainfall amounts that go along with this. See these very bright kind of blue colors that are showing up in here? This is where the very heavy rain, or precipitation I really should call it, is coming down enough that it's lowering the rain-snow line. And this is exactly what we're seeing here. This rain-snow line has really dropped as far south as almost the Ohio River Valley, snowing in Knox County currently. We just saw a report. That's going to continue pushing east, and if it comes down heavy enough, it won't really matter what the temperatures are. It will help to cool the temperatures quite a bit. Having said that, let me walk you through what the model is going to call for, and you'll see it exactly in this model. This model, I think, has been doing a great job of illustrating what we expect over the next 2 or 3 hours. It's got here at 5 o'clock. Once we fast forward, watch the temperature in Indy. Once this little lobe of precipitation rolls through, this temperature should drop a bit. That's what we're expecting through about 7 or 8 o'clock. Snow rates are heavy. It's bringing the cooler air down to the surface. Also, the drier air is being eaten up. That's also helping to cool us down. And so we're going to get sub-freezing for a short window before the temperatures start to rise again. And I think that will happen after about 9 o'clock or so. We'll get above freezing. Temperatures will continue to rise through about midnight, maybe 2 o'clock or so, where the temperatures could reach 40 across the state. Any snow that's left as far as what's falling, not necessarily what's on the ground, but what's still falling will probably change over to rain or drizzle at that point. Unfortunately, within about, I think, 3 or 4 hours, the temperatures will go from mid to upper 30s down to mid to upper 20s. They're going to drop by about 10 to maybe 15 degrees or so over the course of about 5 or 6 hours. And that's going to flash freeze any snow that's on the ground, any rain that's fallen on top of that, give a nice glaze, a coating on everything. Roadways that are treated should be okay, but any areas that have any kind of slush on them, that could be a problem, especially elevated surfaces that aren't treated. It's not going to get above freezing after that. Temperatures are likely going to stay in the 20s for much of the day, and we could even get a little bit of additional light snow on top of that. Not much to really add to any accumulation, but maybe to add a little bit of a slick spot on top of that glaze. Winter storm warning still in place. This hasn't changed over the last 24 hours or so, but just in case you missed it, north of Indy, west of Indy, we have winter storm warnings. This gives you a good idea of where the heaviest snow is going to fall. Winter weather advisories south from there also gives you a good idea of where the snowfall totals are going to be a little bit lower. South from there should have minimal impacts. That's not to say it won't snow, but the impacts should be minimal. I'll show you this model output. I do think it may be pretty good as far as Indy and points to the south. We may see some snow here, but at some point it's going to start to mix with rain. It's going to get compacted. It's going to get kind of slushed and washed out. North from here, this is additional snow on top of what we've already seen. So potentially as much as 4 to 5 inches, 4 to 6 inches additional on top of what we've seen in some locations. I don't know if we'll see it as widespread as this. There's a little bit of built-in timing in the model here that may be accounting for the last hour or so of snowfall. Sunday is cold. Expect a cold Sunday, and it's going to be breezy too, so there will be a wind chill likely down into the teens, and your 7-day forecast keeps snow in the forecast at least through Tuesday. These amounts will be lighter, but an inch or two couldn't be ruled out, especially for early on Tuesday. Very briefly, let me show you this image because I mentioned it earlier, but it wasn't full screen. See the difference in the gap here between the difference in the gap right about here. You can already start to see some of the snow falling off in the distance here. This is what's arriving. This part of the atmosphere is actually pretty dry. It's taken some time to get that dry air out of here, or for the snow to move in and to eat up some of that dry air. But once that arrives, snow's going to reach the ground, and we expect snow in Indy within the hour, I think before 6 o'clock. And by the way, we will have live coverage right here on WTHR+, but it's really going to be a simulcast of our newscast that happens at 6 p.m. over on WTHR. You can see the clouds kind of moving through Indy. Let's take a couple of other locations. We'll hit Carmel here very quickly. Nice scene there, the Chris Kendall Market. You can see the clouds certainly in place. Snow not falling at the moment, but likely will within the next hour and a half or so. And the Country Club did have some snow on the ground, but some of that may have melted as the temperatures briefly popped above freezing. I expect those to drop back down below freezing with this next batch of snow. It's going to be moving through. And Morse Lake, not frozen, but certainly some snow covering it. And there you see our live radar. Very quickly, Colin, if you're able to pop up those 2 traffic cameras, I'll talk a little bit about them before we leave folks here. And keep in mind, we'll be having hourly updates throughout the evening right here on WTHR+. Okay, there you saw, well, we lose that camera every now and then. So keep in mind, the areas that we're watching to the west, the one that you saw there just a moment ago, that was the westbound Interstate 70 traffic that has been stalled or shut down for at least 5 hours. This was since about maybe 12:30 or so. It's moving. That's not something we've seen through the last several hours, but look at how the visibility has really dropped. Compare that to when I was showing this to you over the course of the last several hours, I should say, and the visibility has gone down, but at least the traffic is moving. As you can see, a lot of emergency vehicles. If you're not familiar with this area, this is what it looked like earlier in the day. This is westbound on Interstate 70. Terre Haute would be up on the right. Indy would be behind us. This is almost approaching the Illinois state line. This was the area that we really had some problems with. Thankfully, things are improving, but there's more snow on the way. So traffic's looking pretty good. Keep it tuned right here to WTHR+, or join us over on WTHR for our news at 6. We'll have all of the latest headlines and, of course, coverage of weather and traffic.